All right, let's dive into this.
Okay.
Deep dive into Seth Godin's Purple Cow.
Sounds good.
And, we're going to talk about, why just being good
Right.
doesn't really cut it these days
Yeah.
when it comes to marketing.
Especially today.
Yeah. So how do we,
How do you stand out?
how do we stand out? How do we make a splash in this world?
In a field of brown cows, how do you become the purple one?
Yeah, that's the big question.
That's the question.
So why
It's more important now than ever.
why is that though? Like, why is it so important now to be that purple cow?
Just look at your own life as a consumer.
Hmm.
I mean, how many choices are you bombarded with every single day?
Oh, tons.
Products and services and information.
Right.
It's all just fighting for our attention.
Absolutely.
And most of us just don't have the time or the patience to try to sift through it all to find the really good stuff.
Yeah, we tune it out.
Yeah.
We just tune it out.
We've got to tune it out.
Yeah.
We're just overwhelmed.
So how do we as marketers or as businesses or individuals even
Yeah.
break through that noise?
Well, you got to offer something remarkable,
Okay.
something that's going to make people stop,
Yeah.
pay attention, and tell their friends.
Yeah.
That's what the Purple Cow's all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just attracting customers.
Right.
It's creating evangelists for what you do.
I love that.
Yeah.
And, thinking about the examples that we were looking at in our source material,
Yeah.
like Lionel Poulain,
Right?
the baker in France.
Lionel Poulain is a great example of someone who understood this principle.
Yeah.
He was baking bread
Right.
in France.
And
But instead of doing what everybody else was doing
Right.
and baking the same old baguette,
right.
he focused on perfecting his sourdough bread.
Right.
He used organic flour,
Mm-hmm.
ancient techniques.
Mm-hmm.
He refused to compromise on quality.
Yeah. And it became a global phenomenon,
It did.
right? Like people were flying
People were flying to
to
Paris
Paris for this bread.
to get a taste of this bread.
That's
remarkable.
that's more than just bread at that point.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Right.
It's about creating something unique,
Right.
something that people crave and connect with
Mm-hmm.
on a deeper level. It's about telling a story,
Yeah.
building a brand
Yeah.
that resonates with people's values
Really.
and aspirations.
It's like that Starbucks thing too,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Back in the day,
In their early days,
they didn't just sell coffee.
right?
They sold an experience.
The atmosphere, the music,
Yeah.
they had their own lingo.
Right.
It was more than just a cup of joe.
It was like,
While other coffee brands were focused on mass production and
Yeah.
generic flavors,
right.
Starbucks took a risk and dared to be different.
And it paid off.
It paid off big time.
They became like a cultural icon.
Yeah.
A symbol of,
A lifestyle.
yeah. But how do we even figure out what's going to make us stand out like that?
That's the question.
Is there some kind of formula
Well,
for remarkability?
there's no one-size-fits-all formula,
Okay.
but there are some key principles and strategies that we
Okay.
can definitely unpack.
All right. So let's keep going with this.
Let's do it.
Let's figure out what these principles and strategies are.
Right.
Okay. So we know being remarkable is like the name of the game.
Yeah.
But how do we figure out what's actually remarkable?
Yeah.
It can't just be random, right?
No, it's definitely not random.
Okay.
It's a strategic process.
Okay.
And one of the most important things is understanding your audience
Okay.
and identifying your otaku.
Okay. Otaku?
Yeah,
You keep saying that.
I do.
I'm not sure everybody knows what that means.
It's a Japanese term,
Okay.
and it refers to people with obsessive interests,
Okay.
like, anime, manga, video games, that sort of thing. Okay, so like really into something.
Yeah. They're really into it.
Okay.
But for marketers,
Mhm.
it means any group of really passionate consumers
Yeah.
who are deeply invested in a specific niche.
Got it.
So think of them like your super fans,
Okay.
your early adopters,
Mm-hmm.
the people who will wait in line for the new iPhone
Okay.
or, travel across the country
Yeah.
for a limited edition pair of sneakers.
Yeah. Okay, so they're the ones who are like
They're the ones who are all in.
all in.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
They're the ones who are going to spread the word
Okay.
if it really resonates with them.
They're like the tastemakers.
They are the tastemakers. They're
Yeah.
the trendsetters.
The sneezers.
Sneezers.
I love that.
Yeah, they spread the word like a sneeze spreads germs.
So we got to find our sneezer.
You got to find your sneezers
Okay.
if you want to launch a successful purple cow.
So how do we find them?
Well, you got to understand their needs and their desires,
Yeah.
their pain points.
Mm-hmm. What are they looking for that they're not getting?
Right.
What would make their lives easier or better or more enjoyable.
How do we figure that out, though?
Well, intuition plays a role,
Okay.
but data is your best friend.
Okay.
That's where measurement comes in.
Okay.
The companies that are really good at creating purple cows, they're constantly measuring what's working and what's not.
Right.
They're gathering data
Yeah.
on customer preferences, analyzing trends, using that information to refine their products.
So it's like a feedback loop?
It is a constant feedback loop.
You put something out there,
Yeah,
see how people respond.
exactly.
Adjust.
That's it.
Okay.
Like Zara,
Yeah.
you know, they release new clothes every few weeks.
Yeah.
They're fast.
Yeah, incredibly fast.
And that speed is driven by data.
Oh, wow.
They're constantly analyzing sales figures, customer feedback, even social media trends
To see what people want.
to see what's resonating.
So they're not just guessing.
They're not just throwing things out there.
They're using data.
Data is king.
Okay, so data is our friend.
Data is your friend.
All right.
It helps us find those sneezers.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what about some examples of companies that are doing this well?
Well, let's go back to food for a second.
Okay.
Think about hot sauce.
Hot sauce, yeah.
There are all these small, independent hot sauce brands that are thriving.
Yeah. Why is that?
They cater to the chili head enthusiasts.
Oh, so there's like a real...
There's a cult following.
Yeah, a real cult following for hot sauce.
Absolutely.
Okay.
These people are always searching for the next great burn. They're willing to pay a premium for it.
Yeah.
Unique flavors, high-quality ingredients.
Interesting.
It's all about that shared passion.
It's funny you say that because, like,
Yeah.
I think about something like mustard.
Right.
It's kind of just like
It's just mustard?
mustard.
Aw.
Nobody's like freaking out over mustard.
Yeah.
It's just there.
It doesn't have that otaku intensity.
Yeah.
People aren't driving across town for a new artisanal mustard.
They're not blogging about mustard.
No.
Okay, so...
So if you want a purple cow, look for markets
Yeah.
where the otaku already exists.
Find those sneezers.
Tap into their passion,
Okay.
their hunger for something remarkable, and they will become your evangelists.
Okay, cool.
Remember Zespri?
Yeah, the kiwi company.
Yeah, the golden kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
They had something special, but they didn't try to take over the world
Well,
right away.
So what do they do?
They targeted Latino foodies.
Oh.
Specifically.
Yeah.
This group is known for
Yeah.
willingness to try new things, strong food traditions.
Okay.
They knew that this group
Yeah.
would appreciate the golden kiwi.
And they were right.
They were right.
Smart.
They created a buzz
Mm-hmm.
in a specific niche,
And it spread.
and then it spread.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's a smart strategy. Yeah. Finding your otaku is crucial for launching a successful purple cow.
All right, so we got data.
You got data.
You got to find our sneezer.
Find your sneezer.
But how do we make something remarkable?
That's the fun part.
Okay.
That's where it gets really exciting.
Okay, so we talked about data. We talked about finding those sneezers.
We did.
Now, what about the actual making something remarkable part?
Right.
How do we do that?
Well, that's where creativity comes in.
Okay.
Strategy and a little bit of courage.
Okay.
You know, sometimes the best ideas come from challenging the way we think about things.
No.
Even questioning the things we take for granted.
Like that Dutch boy paint example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a paint can.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Right.
You could innovate a paint can.
But they did.
Yeah.
They redesigned the can, made it easier to hold,
Okay.
easier to pour.
Easier to close.
Yeah. So suddenly, something as basic as painting becomes a little less frustrating.
Yeah, a little less messy.
Right.
Okay.
Because those little things.
Yeah, and they add up
They do?
in the customer's mind.
They took a basic need painting and they elevated it
Yeah.
by focusing on the experience.
It's like that Dr. Bronner's soap.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's soap, right?
That's dope.
But the packaging is so weird.
It's wild.
It's like covered in all these messages.
It's like a philosophy lesson on a bottle of soap.
Yeah, exactly.
But they knew their audience. They
Right.
knew that people would be drawn to that.
Right.
They embraced their unique voice. They weren't afraid to be different.
And that makes them stand out.
It does.
Like when you see that on a shelf,
Yeah.
you remember it.
It's memorable.
Okay, so we've got to be bold.
Be bold.
Take risks.
Take risks.
And understand our audience.
Know your audience.
Okay, but how does that translate into, like, a company culture?
Right.
How do we build remarkability into a company?
That's where leadership comes in.
Okay.
Company culture. Creating an environment where people are encouraged to think differently,
Yeah.
to challenge the status quo, to come up with new ideas.
Like Nissan.
Yeah.
And their design chief.
Jerry Herzberg.
Yeah.
He changed the entire company's approach to design.
Yeah, it wasn't just about...
It wasn't just about looks.
Yeah.
It was about the whole experience, creating cars that were functional,
Right.
but also emotionally engaging,
Yeah.
visually striking, memorable.
Yeah.
He made design central to their strategy.
Yeah.
And it worked.
And JetBlue,
JetBlue.
the CEO there,
Yeah.
he's like all about the customer experience.
He is.
Even the little things.
Every detail.
Yeah.
They understand that every interaction is an opportunity to stand out.
To be remarkable.
To make a lasting impression.
So it's like the whole company
A whole company.
has to be on board with it.
It's part of their DNA.
Yeah, okay. And remember,
The publicist.
the publicist, yeah, she decided to just focus on plastic surgeons.
Yeah, a very specific niche.
Very specific.
But she became the go-to expert
Yeah.
for that niche.
She turned herself into a purple cow.
She did.
She didn't try to be everything to everyone.
She found her niche.
Yeah.
And she owned it.
Yeah, and she's killing it.
She is.
That's awesome.
She found a way to be remarkable.
Okay, so to wrap this all up,
Yeah.
being remarkable,
It's not optional anymore.
it's essential.
It's essential.
If you want to stand out,
You got to be bold.
take risks.
Take risks.
Find your purple
You
cow
need your purple cow.
and let it roam.
Let it roam.
All right, so one last thing for everyone out there listening.
Yeah.
What's your purple cow?
What's your purple cow?
What can you do
What can you do to be remarkable?
to be different?
To make a difference?
Find your unique voice.
Find your unique voice.
Don't be afraid to stand out.
Don't be afraid to be different.
The world is waiting for your purple cow.
The world is waiting.